Welcome to Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement. Gerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost want to help you retire with purpose and live with joy. Find more information, including how to reach the team, in today's show notes. Now, Kickin' with the Rickens, powered by Ricken Financial.
As always, thanks so much for streaming Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement. We are here with licensed insurance professional Gerry Ricken. My name is Mark Owens. Gerry, how is the beautiful chaos that is Ricken Financial right now? We never really put a bow on taxes, but I know the past couple of weeks have just been nonstop.
Well, everyone, procrastination is just not something that people do occasionally. People do that every year when it comes to April 15th. So April 15th is now in our rearview mirror, and we survived it.
Hey, congratulations. All right.
Yeah. And it's always good to get that behind us, but that's not our favorite time of year. Our favorite time of year is all year long when we do tax planning as opposed to tax preparation, because tax preparation, you can't do anything about what you did last year. But with every spring, we have tax season. We also have gardening season. And just to let you know, Mark, I'm in a perpetual fight with my rototiller right now.
Who's winning?
Well, so far, my rototiller is, and I think it's allergic to sunshine, because when I bring it outside and try to start it, it doesn't start. It starts in the garage, but doesn't start outside. So it dies when I take it outside. So I think it's just
not in the mood.
It's just one of those things that it's not new.
Is it like a union worker? It only works for about 10 minutes and needs a little bit of
maybe one of those highway flagmen that stop and start, and it's still on stop and slow, and it's only on stop. It hasn't turned to slow yet.
Maybe it's time for that rototiller to retire.
It could be, but we need to really prepare for the rototiller for retirement, and he's with the right owner.
You know what? That's a great point.
Because I can actually help the rototiller to retire.
Give it its best life in retirement in the garage. That's what we do every week here on Kickin' with the Rickens. RickenFinancial.com to get more information. You can find that here in the show notes. And Gerry, we've been having a conversation for the past couple of weeks about myths and misconceptions in retirement. And a lot of really good responses to this. And I think we should continue this conversation, not just here on the podcast, but we're going to continue it on the radio show as well. But I'm going to throw a couple of these at you. And I just want you to explain to me why this could be considered a myth or misconception, starting off with average rates of return. That matters. How is that a myth?
Well, Mark, when we talk, whenever you see a statement from an investment portfolio, it has, here's the average rate of return for the last month, for the last year, for the last 5 years, for the last 10 years since inception. And those matter when you are younger and you are in it for the long term, and you're not going to be using those funds in short order. And like when I'm talking about, I'm 25 years old, I'm contributing to my 401k, I see the average rate of return, it's 10%. Oh, that's great, that's wonderful. But fast forward, I'm 65 years old, I've got my 401k, and all of a sudden the average rates of return don't matter anymore. They don't matter basically 5 to 10 years before and 5 to 10 years after your retirement date, because in that window, we call that the retirement death zone, because your retirement can die in that zone if something happened in the financial markets and we had a huge correction and you weren't prepared for it, and you weren't investing the way your risk tolerance wants you to invest. So when I say average returns, people think average returns matter. They don't matter at all,
right,
when you're that close to retirement and in retirement, in those first few years of retirement. Because if something happens and all of a sudden you have a market correction, you have 2 or 3 bad years, and we've seen this before, and you are using those funds as part of your income plan. So you're withdrawing money from your portfolio, and it's going down at the same time. That's a double whammy. And let's say it's in a 401k or an IRA. That's a triple whammy, because not only do you have to, your funds are going down and you're using them, but you're also paying tax on them. So you have to take more money out and sell more shares to get the same amount of money as if it weren't taxable. Right. So there are all kinds of things that really weigh into this, and it's the sequence of returns that matter when you're approaching retirement and in retirement. What does the sequence of returns mean? Well, just like I said, let's say you have 2 portfolios Portfolio A, this person retired, and for the first 3 years, they were down 12%, down 8%, down 9%. Then all of a sudden it came back, and the rest of the years were great. Well, Portfolio B, the years were great until the end of their, let's say 10 years from now, or in years 8, 9, and 10, they had those losses. Well, Portfolio B is going to survive a lot better than Portfolio A because losing money up front is going to devastate your portfolio.
Right.
It just is because you're using money out of it. So when you look at average rates of return, you should just throw those out the window when you're talking about retirement planning, because it's what actually happens to your money, not what the average has been. Because, the average can be, 5%, and that can be, a negative and a positive that average to 5%, and depends upon when that negative happens, what happens to your portfolio. So you need to really be cognizant when you look at your investment portfolio. And when I say your investment portfolio, I'm talking about everything from your bank accounts to your 401ks, to your IRAs, to your Roth IRAs, to your, real estate investments, whatever you have, we want to look at everything and make sure that you are investing the way you want to invest. And when I say that, a lot of people have just set it and forget it.
Mm-hmm.
And set it and forget it mentality works while you're accumulating money, but in your decumulation and distribution years, which is when you retire and planning to retire, you need to really invest the way your heart wants you to invest and the way your mind wants you to invest. And that doesn't happen overnight. And it doesn't happen by just saying, oh, I'm going to change my investment philosophy. Your investment philosophy is your investment philosophy. And we go through a process with you and ask you a lot of questions. And if you're a married couple, we ask both of you the same question. And we want you both to be on the same page. And sometimes that can be a challenge because typically in a couple, one person is more conservative than the other.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to get to a common ground and then look at your portfolio, compare how you're investing to how you want to invest. That's your risk tolerance, because average returns don't matter anymore. But if you do have that blip initially, we want to make sure you're prepared for that. You understand what that looks like and that it matches your risk tolerance, because it's not all, doom and gloom if that happens, as long as you have other assets that are protected, some assets that are protected based on your risk tolerance, so that if the market corrects and it craters on you, that your whole portfolio won't crater.
Yeah. The power of preparation, the power of a plan, with the help of Ricken Financial, talking about some of the biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement. I want to get to a couple of more of these. This is a big one too, because Jerry, I'm sure you hear this all the time. Hey, Jerry, I'm just going to go ahead and wait until retire. I'm going to wait until the age of 67 because, let's be honest, that's my FRA. That's my full retirement age. So I'm just going to wait. How is that a misconception? What's wrong with that statement?
Well, here's what's wrong with that statement. FRA, full retirement age, that is an age that is dictated by the Social Security Administration. If you were born in 1960 or later, 67 is your full retirement age. And they say full retirement age, and they say that's when you're going to get full benefits. Mm-hmm. Well, that means you're not going to get your benefits cut back, but that isn't your full benefits that you could ever receive in your lifetime. The full benefits you can receive in your lifetime are at age 70. And fun fact, if you don't take your Social Security at age 70, they will not automatically pay it to you. You have to actually apply for it. I say that's a misconception. A lot of people say, several people, not a lot, but several people have said, I say, one of our conversations is, what are you going to do in retirement? And when would you like to retire?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to retire at 67 or 66 in 10 months or 66 in 8 months. And what they're thinking about is full retirement age based on what Social Security says. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want the government to dictate when I retire. I want to decide when I retire, and I want to decide when the appropriate time is for me to take Social Security benefits. Mm-hmm. And if you think that age 67 is the ideal time to take Social Security benefits, you probably haven't done a thorough analysis on what that really means.
Yeah.
Either if you are an individual or a married couple. So It doesn't matter, because you need to understand how Social Security works. Social Security benefits are based on the highest 35 earning years of your lifetime, based on marked with inflation, with their cost of living adjustments through the years. So each year that you work, if it's a higher amount than one of the past 35 earning years, that gets replaced and goes into the calculation. So when you retire, and when you retire, you turn on your benefits, and they're set, and then you have a cost of living adjustment going forward, if the government says there is a cost of living, if we have inflation based on the government. So when we look at Social Security, between the ages of 66 and 70, your benefit goes up at guaranteed 8%. If you defer, your benefit goes up a guaranteed 8%. Well, let me just ask this question. Where can you get a guaranteed 8% in any investment right now? Guaranteed. So, your CDs aren't paying that, and that's probably, and fixed annuities aren't paying that. And those are guaranteed amounts, but guaranteed 8% plus the cost of living adjustment. So those people who deferred from last year to this year, the cost of living adjustment in 2026 is 2.8%. Their benefit went up 10.8% from last year to this year.
Yeah.
Well, that's a significant guaranteed rate of return. So what we do is we look at it with a holistic point of view. If you have other assets to live on and you can afford to defer your Social Security benefits, it may make sense to do that. But you won't know until you go through a Social Security timing exercise, and we provide that as part of our planning, our complementary planning. We look at Social Security. And if you're a married couple, maybe one defers and the other one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And, there are all kinds of things out there that we want to look at. There are survivor benefits. And, we want to make sure that you know everything you need to know before you make that decision, because Joe at work told you that's the way he's doing it and that's the way you should do it.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean that's the way you should do it. Each person, each plan that we work on, and each family, each person we meet, they're unique. Their situation's unique. It's like your fingerprint. It's different than everyone else's. We want to make sure that you are equipped to make the most informed decision with Social Security planning and all the other planning that's involved as well before you make those decisions.
Reach out to the team at Ricken Financial. I love that you've said that statement before, that each plan is like a fingerprint. Everybody is different. And what's your other line about, as long as you have blood pressure?
We want you to have income.
There it is. I'm
telling you, as long as you have blood pressure, we want you to have income, because, after that, you're probably not worried about it.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a true
and
statement.
We don't want you to worry about it while you have blood pressure. We just want to make sure that you have income that satisfies all of your needs. And if you have that, you're not going to really worry about much in retirement.
And then those are Jerryism. What's the Markism that I say every week here on Kicking with the Rickens? Income
is the outcome that matters most in retirement.
There it is. RickenFinancial.com. All right, one more for you real quick, as we're talking about some of the biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement. I need multiple advisors to have a diverse portfolio. There's part of me that thinks there's a little bit of truth behind that, because we have favorite restaurants that we go to a lot. Why can't we have an advisor that works on only taxes, or an advisor that only works on, diversification or income? Like, what's the problem with having too many advisors?
Well, you don't have a quarterback if you have a lot of advisors in the whole pie. When I say you don't have a quarterback, if you have multiple advisors, they are investing based on what they know about you.
Right.
And they may not know everything about you. They've probably not done a holistic plan. Even if they have, they say, okay, here's your risk tolerance, and they're investing like that. Guess what? The other guy's doing the same thing based on your risk tolerance. And you're not diversified because they're investing in maybe different mutual funds for you, or different securities. But when you look at it holistically, and you do an independent Morningstar review, which is we use a service called Morningstar, and we look at everything independent. They look at everything independently and look at your portfolio, and they say, oh my gosh, you're investing in this same security in 18 different mutual funds. You have no idea that you're not diversified. You think you are, but you're really not, because you don't have someone looking at that from a holistic perspective and saying, hey, folks, hold it. This is what we need to do. you're not investing the way your risk tolerance says you should invest. You're really concentrated on 7 or 8 or 9 different securities. And what if the market goes down?
Right.
What happens to your portfolio? Well, it's going to go down with it. And the other thing you're not doing is, we've had this happen before, and it's very frustrating. We do a lot of tax planning. And if there's another investment advisor involved with our client, they have no idea what's happening in that portfolio until March, when they get their statement for taxes, their 1099 statement on their portfolio. Then they say, oh my gosh, where did all these capital gains come from? Where did this dividend income come from? They had no idea what was happening, and we don't know. And it wrecks the entire planning that we have from a tax perspective. So multiple advisors, if you're young and you're not focused on retirement planning, and you want to maybe, get some people involved. Okay. Your retirement, you can't have multiple people, because no one's running the ship. You need a quarterback. You need someone that is a point person that you can hold accountable for everything.
Yeah.
And if you have multiple people, nobody's accountable.
Yep. And that initial consultation, that's like taking Heidi Ricken, Provost, Gerry Ricken. It's like taking y'all to the combine, because we're auditioning you. I mean, let's be honest about it. When we have that very first conversation, we're sitting down with you. Can you help us? Can you lead our team? Can you help be the quarterback of my financial future? That initial consultation, no cost, no obligation from the team at Ricken Financial. Gerry, great information for that, man. Thank you, as we continue to have the discussion on myths and misconceptions in retirement.
Well, it's my pleasure, but you wouldn't want to see me run the 40 right now in the combine.
Listen, if a little rototiller is causing you pain and suffering, I don't know if you can run the route.
Exactly. Hey,
I
can tell you how to run it, though.
I can tell you. I can guide you. I can be a good coach. I can be a good coach. And that's the team at Ricken Financial. Get all the information here in the show notes, how to take advantage of that initial consultation. Again, no cost, no obligation to you. Good place to hit pause this week. We will be back next week. But as always, thank you for the education and the information. RickenFinancial.com. But before we hit pause, Gerry Ricken, take us home.
Every day's a holiday. Life is short. Laugh hard.
This has been Kicking with the Rickens, redefining retirement.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Ricken Financial LLC. Ricken Financial LLC is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Ricken Financial LLC are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Ricken Financial LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Ricken Financial LLC.
Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.
Tax preparation and tax advisory services are offered through Ricken Financial. These services are not offered by IPW and are not subject to investment advisor requirements. These services referenced are an outside business activity not offered through or supervised by IPW.